Hello everyone, today is March 25th, 2025, and it's been a couple weeks since I've done an update. A lot has happened in the last 2 weeks. This may be a little bit longer of a video because I got so much to cover, but a lot has happened. A lot of good things have happened. There's been a lot of hard things that I've had to overcome in the last 2 weeks as well. On March 11th, I finished my radiation, 30 radiation treatments and 5 chemo sessions. And mentally, that was a very huge milestone for me to reach. To say the last 2 radiation treatments were very difficult to endure is an understatement. I was sobbing through radiation number 29. I was so overwhelmed with what my body had been through. But I was also just really proud of myself for the amazing and resilient body that God created for me. Probably the obvious, I have lost a lot of weight, a total of 35 pounds over the last 8 weeks. I think we finally have reached a plateau and I have a handle on it. I'm at, let's see, I started at 195 and I'm now at 160, which is crazy. I wasn't even this light, this skinny, even in high school. You know, it's hard for me to see myself in this condition. However, I'm on the other side and I'm on the way to recovery, and I haven't lost any weight in the last week thanks to the discovery of these high-calorie boost drinks, which is 530 calories and about 26 grams of protein, lots of nutrients and vitamins packed into those. So I'm up to 3 of those a day, as well as continuing to drink at least one of these. This is 40 ounces. And that's what's been keeping me alive for the last couple weeks. And I'm very thankful. I would say stumbled, but I really feel that God led me to those drinks. They have been a lifesaver, literally. As I said, radiation treatment number 29 was very difficult. Number 30 was even more difficult. That day on March 11th, I was probably at my lowest physically and mentally. My wife could tell, and she asked if we could just skip my last treatment. The reasoning behind that was if the treatments hadn't already gotten the cancer by now, why go through one more radiation? We asked my oncologist, actually the chemo oncologist who was there, who had to come see me because I was too weak to go see him in another part of the hospital. We called my radiation oncologist because she wasn't working that day to see if she would give the approval. However, she felt strongly that we needed to do one more treatment. And to make matters worse, earlier that morning when they were putting in an IV to get my labs, I passed out, I guess, for 10-15 seconds. I mean, I was just low. I was done. I was just so ready to get on with the other half of this journey, which is the recovery. However, as I was sitting there feeling pretty low and feeling pretty sorry for myself, I must admit, I decided to do the last treatment. And the reason being is that I didn't want there to be any possibility if the cancer came back to say, well, is it because I didn't do that last treatment? So we did the last treatment. Looking back now, I'm glad that I did. They do have a gong in the office that they asked if I wanted to ring after my last treatment. I wasn't really interested in that. I was being a party pooper, I guess. However, I said, I'll come back in 3 months after my PET scan and I'm cancer free, and I'm going to ring the hell out of that thing. So I didn't hit the gong, but I'm planning on hitting it. Here we are, just on the road to recovery, and there's been some improvements for sure. There's been some, I wouldn't say setbacks, but it's a very, very, very slow process. I kind of basically look at this as I'm kind of like a little kid again because of the nutrition that I wasn't able to get in due to the pain and discomfort and the nausea and just, everything that chemo and radiation does to the body. There was a lot of muscle atrophy. I wasn't a huge guy, but I was a in shape guy. For 52 years old, I was in good shape, go to the gym regularly and very active. And, that's all gone. The muscle goes first, and then it goes after the fat, and fat's all gone. And that's why I weigh 160 pounds at 6'4". And you can see it in my face. I can see it. I am just rebuilding from ground zero, basically. Just learning how to eat again, learning how to move around, just because I've been laying around and not using my muscles, and I haven't been strengthening them. And I look at this as an opportunity, though, just to be able to rebuild my body. And I'll get there. Realistically, we're probably looking at 6 months to a year before I get there, but that's okay. I've learned that I have to be very patient with myself and very patient with this process. And I used to think that as soon as I got done with treatments that, give me a few days a week and I'm just going to be eating the foods that I had eaten before and moving around and doing the activities, but that's not the case. But I'm okay with that. And it is going to be a very slow process, and that's just the way that it is. It's funny because so many of my doctors and things that I've read online and from people who've had similar cancer, as far as squamous cell carcinoma of the throat or the mouth or anywhere in this area. Thankfully, it is a cancer with one of the highest cure rates, 80 to 90% chance. However, they also say that it's one of the worst cancers to have, just the nature of where it is. It's been very brutal. I definitely felt like, probably about 2 weeks ago, I hit my rock bottom. However, fast forwarding to today, it's exactly 2 weeks after my last radiation treatment. I definitely feel like I'm on the up. Swallowing is getting a little bit easier. I'd probably say about 20% of the pain is gone from swallowing. And I would say probably about 25 to 30% of the sores within my mouth, not my throat, but just within my mouth have cleared up. My gums used to be really, really white, and my tongue was white. And, I've got the color, the redness back into my gums and my tongue. And when I brush my teeth, my mouth, it doesn't hurt my gums or my teeth. I'm still using an infant's toothbrush, very, very soft bristle. I really feel like my mouth's in a pretty good condition. I've been very strict on my daily routine of Coca-Cola rinse, baking soda and salt rinse. I found this other rinse called Helios. Is an oral rinse that was developed by some oncologist. It's a grape flavor. I can actually taste the grape. I can taste a lot of things, not everything. Really sweet things. I tried some watermelon and some grapes, and I asked my wife, are these ripe? And she's like, oh yeah, they're so sweet and juicy, and I couldn't tell. But I'm really thankful that my mouth is starting to feel a little bit more normal. The throat is definitely still painful, but it is healing very slowly, and it's not every day I notice something. It's like maybe just like the other day I noticed, I'm like, oh, my throat doesn't feel as bad as it did a week ago. So it's just things you kind of notice just all of a sudden, and it's not a day-to-day thing where you're like, oh, I'm a little bit better today and a little bit better today. It's just all of a sudden you kind of feel like, oh, yeah, my throat does feel like it's better. Some of the side effects in the last 2 weeks, I still do have hair on my head. However, the hair on my head is just very brittle. I was about to shave it because I was just tired of it falling out everywhere in my bed and in the shower, and every time you put your hand through your hair, it's just everywhere. But I decided not to do that. Just overall restlessness, and just I just can't find really any comfortable positions, especially at night. Last week was just horrible. The heavy buildup of spit and mucus in my throat that would build up. I probably had to spit every 20 minutes, 24 hours a day. At night, good luck. Sleep wasn't a thing. Just every 20 minutes, cut by your bed, spitting, clearing your throat, which was very painful. That lasted for well over a week and a half, just probably the last few days where it's started to subside, and I've been able to get some more rest. But I didn't think that would ever end. It's a necessary process for the body as it's healing to create all that mucus, just to catch all that dead tissue and those cells, that are inside your body. And, I don't want to swallow it. But that was really miserable. I was taking some Mucinex DM. That just seemed to make things worse. I was taking some Alka-Seltzer because I just felt like acid reflux. And then I was just gagging as I was trying to get this phlegm out. And that was a really, really tough period to get through that. No position really felt comfortable, so you just try to sleep on a 45-degree angle and then sit up straight, and then my head would be on the other side of the bed, and then I'd end up on the floor, then I'd end up on a couch that's in a little sitting room in our bedroom. And one night I just ended up on the bathroom floor just so I didn't bother my wife, and it actually was just more comfortable to be laying on the floor, to be honest, and be closer to the bathroom, because I was going back and forth so often of the sink and the toilet and the cup. And so yeah, that was knock on wood, that I'm past that one. A lot of people say the next phase is the opposite, to where now just your salivary glands just dry up and you don't make any saliva. And so everything's just dry. Not everyone hits that phase, of course, because everyone's body's going to react different. So far, I'm still making saliva. It's not overproducing, but literally it was probably every 10 to 15 minutes that I would just hack up this greenish, brownish yellow, and even sometime it had some blood in it. I think just from all the coughing and just me constantly clearing my throat, I was probably breaking some blood vessels. My oncologist did say that was normal as long as it wasn't excessive, and it wasn't excessive. It just happened a few times. I did experience some aspiration when I was drinking, just because of the radiation. Just things weren't working properly and the valve wasn't closing off, and so every time I would drink, some of the liquid would go down the wrong tube into my lungs, and I'd just start violently coughing that up. But I did learn that, if I would take smaller sips and kind of sit at a 90-degree angle and kind of, tuck my chin in, that would help a little bit with the aspiration. But that only worked probably, 4 out of 10 times. I think a lot of it was just psychological too, because you'd be so focused on every time you're swallowing that you'd kind of just almost make yourself choke because you didn't want to choke. I have bought a humidifier that sits next to my bed that basically just runs 24/7. That's definitely helped with the dryness, and also just with I believe with the mucus buildup, and it's just made the air quality better in the bedroom. I'm there a lot. This is actually the first time that I've left my room in 2 weeks because I wanted to do this update, and because it's a beautiful day. It's almost, 65, 70 degrees outside, and just wanted to get up, and I felt like I had the strength to do it, so here I am. I did stop with all prescriptions, not taking any morphine, no stool softeners, no anti-nausea. I've had some weird allergic reactions. I don't know, it's because I tried to eat some different foods. I had some ramen about 3 days ago, and almost immediately I started just getting this rash on my arm here and on this side, and it just continued to go down my arm, onto the back of my legs, down my legs, through the entire night. Started coming back up onto my chest, which then I got a little bit concerned because then it was starting to, started on my stomach and started coming up on my chest. My wife had some, I think it's called calamine lotion. It's like this pink stuff. I put on it, which helped with the itching. And then I also took some Benadryl, and that cleared it up for the most part. But it's been coming back, not as intense as it did a few days ago. But I don't think it's something that I'm eating, because really I'm just drinking water and drinking these boosts. I did try some chicken noodle the other day again, and I had some grapes. When I did have the ramen, I looked it up, and it did say that because of the chemo and the radiation, my immune system is pretty much non-existent right now, and it's on its way of building its way up. That especially in processed things and MSG and a lot of other crap that's in our food that our body can normally handle. It can cause some allergic reactions. But also just says that, again, this is just the way that your body reacts post-treatments. And you can have, these rashes just pop up for no reason. So I'm not trying to get too worried about it. It hasn't gotten any worse, let's just say that. Last week I did get a couple IVs. And that's before I could really, that's when I was at my low. Actually, it wasn't last week. It was the week prior, and they scheduled me some more to go in and just get some fluids and some electrolytes, but I ended up canceling those. I basically just told myself I can't get these IVs anymore. It's just, that was way more traumatic to me, and so I just said, you need to start drinking, buddy. You need to start drinking. It's either that or you're getting IVs, and then you're going to get a feeding tube, and then recovery is just going to take forever. So that's just kind of where the mental game comes in, and has been something that's been very challenging. I'm proud of myself that I was able to be strong enough mentally to do that, get over that hurdle. I did take a couple baths about 2 weeks ago when the phlegm was kind of at its height. My wife suggested that I, take a bath, put some Epsom salt in that, and she ran the shower just to kind of steam up the bathroom. And that was actually really nice, just to kind of lay there in the bath and relax and kind of let all that steam, go inside my body and loosen up some of that mucus. Probably hadn't taken a bath since I was 8 years old, and so it was nice. Those baths definitely were helpful at that time when I really needed it. The oncologist did give us a green light to go to Hawaii this week, and she said, the humidity would be great and just be there and relax. However, every day is just still, very unpredictable, and I just don't think that, we had planned this trip with some good friends, and I just don't think it would be fair to them for me to go and just kind of be that guy that just can't really do a lot, because I really can't move around that much. I still can't afford to lose too many calories because I'm still not getting enough to gain weight. So we decided a few days ago to stay home, which was kind of a bummer because we had that trip planned for several months, and I was being very optimistic that I'd be better health-wise to go. But I think it's a good decision, and when we do decide to go on a vacation, when I'm ready and healthy, it's just going to be that much sweeter. One day I was just feeling like, man, I want some Thai food, like some drunken noodles with chicken and some tom kha gai, which is like this coconut-based soup with chicken and some vegetables. And so my wife went and got it for me and took a bite. I'm like, man, this is good. And man, I was shoveling that thing in like nobody's business. And probably within 3 to 5 minutes, that spices started hitting, and I just started coughing uncontrollably and quickly realized that wasn't a good idea. Getting a little too excited too soon to start eating some normal foods, but my body wasn't ready for that yet. Again, like I said, I'm like a little kid where I just need to start with stuff that's very bland, no spices at all, no flavor, and so that turned into being a bad idea. I did go through this phase of, because I was so hungry, like I just wanted to eat so bad, and so I was just watching videos constantly, these cooking show videos of, people that travel around the world and try all these exotic and unique foods, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this looks so delicious, what I would give to eat that right now. And I don't know why I would do that, because I couldn't eat them. And then I would struggle to put down a protein shake in my water, and here I am looking at all these foods. But I've since moved past that phase of food videos, and I'm now more obsessed with videos that are more food for my soul, things that are uplifting, things of more of a religious nature. As important as my physical body to get nutrition, I believe, is my spirit needs to be fed. And on the days that I do that, actually, it takes a lot of focus off of all the crappy things, and just mentally, emotionally, I feel way better. And physically, when I'm focused on things that are just more positive and things that kind of feed my soul. My wife continues to be invaluable support and strength. She put these awesome little quotes and things on my bathroom mirror. I get to look at those and read them every day. And just little things of just, positivity and encouragement. And it reminds me to focus on that, and just reminds me of what an amazing woman that she is. She said she's going to need some therapy after this. And I'm like, what do you mean therapy? She's like, because it's just been so tough on her. And, I get it. This has just been, we weren't prepared for this. I mean, no one's prepared for this, and then the toll it's going to take on you mentally. But I definitely feel like it's brought us closer. We've had our days, and when I say me, I've had plenty of days to just where I'm just so depleted physically, because I just didn't get rest during the night, that I just, I don't look forward to nights at all. Yeah, the other night, I when we were getting ready for bed, I go, yep, I'm ready for another night of hell. And it was probably a little dramatic, but nights are just kind of tough in general. But they are getting better very slowly. They're getting better. I think I even got like 2 hours straight of sleep last night. Also, my family, they continue to be awesome. They reach out with texts and, always checking up on me. On my last treatment day, they wanted to be there, but I was just, again, I was so low that I told my wife, I can't see anyone. I just don't have the energy to face anyone, and just the way that I feel and the way that I look. But we got home, and they had decorated our front porch with all these posters and balloons and flowers and cards and things like that. To me are just really big, just when it comes to family going out of their way to express their love and their support for you. And so that really, really meant a lot to me. And I've had those flowers in the bedroom. Just reminds me of how blessed I am to have such incredible people in my life. I've been reading this book, which is also a small miracle in of itself, because I do not read books. I like books with pictures and the least words possible, but it's a book by one of the leaders of our church. There's a chapter that talks about beginning with the end in mind, and it really resonated with me, especially with what I'm going through right now. And everything that I endured up to this point, and specifically specifically the radiation and chemo treatments, the end is there's an 80 to 90% chance that it will have cured my cancer. In between all of that, there's a lot of room for discouragement, uncertainty, and feelings of I'm just not going to make it through the day, that this is never going to end, that the suffering and the side effects are just never going to end. You know, I wanted to give up on my last treatment. There's just so much that if I was to focus on everything in between all of that, I would probably talk myself into not making it. But if I focus on the end, which again is being cured from this, that is what is getting me through every day. So again, for anyone who is just been diagnosed, for anyone who is currently going through treatments and just feels like, oh my gosh, this is just horrible. It is. It is hard. This has been the most difficult physical, mental, emotional challenge that I've ever been through in my entire life. However, I believe that my body and my mind is well on the road to recovery. And I know that if I can do this, that anyone listening to me right now can do it as well. I don't want to downplay anything. I don't want to sugarcoat anything because it is tough, but you're tough too. I know that if you can just focus on what you're going to get out of this down the road, a life of health, more years of living on this earth, more years of being with loved ones and family, creating memories. And that's what we're fighting for. And that's what gets me through every day, is focusing on the end. And I know it's still a little ways off, but I know I'm going to get there. And I know you're going to get there too. So be strong. There's been many times when I've pleaded with God through the night and throughout the day where he would just take this away from me. But what would be the point of going through this if I didn't experience any of the pain and any of the discomfort, the very things that have caused me to grow in my life and caused me to grow at this point right now? Instead, I've just asked him to give me the strength to endure it and to open my mind and my heart to the things that he's wanting to teach me during this time of refinement and softening and learning. And our attitude and our perspective is such a powerful thing. And I was praying the other night and I actually thanked God for allowing me to go through this. I don't think that he gave this to me. I don't think he said, hey, I'm going to give you cancer. But I know that he's allowing me to go through this. And I can decide whether I want to go through this alone or if I want to go through this with him. And I chose to go through this with full faith and confidence in him, knowing that there are things and purposes that I can't see now, but that I will look back on down the road and will see the wisdom and the perfect love that he has for me, because I know he has the power to take this away from me like that. But all the lessons that I'm learning and the growth that I'm having would be gone like that too. So it may be strange to hear me say this, but I am grateful for this experience and for this trial, as hard as it has been and will continue to be. I just know that in the times when we are uncomfortable and we push our mind and our bodies to the limits, that's when we grow. And this is just one of those opportunities, a necessary bump in my road of life that have opened my eyes to the love, to the understanding of God's plan for me. And so for that, I am sincerely grateful. There is great strength in numbers, and there is strength in prayer. Continue to pray for me, and I'll continue to pray for you. And together we will all beat this. And I'll talk to you soon. Peace.